Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. This is not Teddy Pendergrass. This is Pastor Jamal Bryant. And this is our enrichment hour. I want you to please do three things. Tell somebody, tag somebody, text somebody. This is our economic enrichment series. The Lord put on my heart that the body of Christ and the children of God are going to have to prosper in the pandemic. I've got amazing information and insights that I want to share with you. A special guest all the way from Texas, but I want to wait for a few more of you to jump on from around the country and around the world, because this pandemic is not domestic. It is absolutely hitting every continent in severe ways. I want you to be equipped. The Bible warns us that our people die from a lack of knowledge. And as a consequence, I want you to live. What should we do in these dire and these drastic and demanding economic times? How do we respond as the children of God? And so those of you who've been talking to family members about your economic plight, I need you to text somebody. Those of you who have a best friend who's going through, I need you to please alert them. Those of you who have people that owe you money, get them on right now. This is going to get them in a place not only to just pay off their debts, but to pay you back. We're going to start in just about 90 seconds. I'm waiting for a few more of you to pile on. I'm appreciative that you have shifted your schedule around in the middle of the pandemic. Good evening to you, and let me ask that you'll pull your children in because the earlier you get them a part of this process, the more equipped they'll be. Many years ago, my great Uncle Charles, during a holiday breakfast, came in and sat at the children's table. Those of you who grew up in a Black family know the difference between the two tables. And he says to me, Jamal, do you know what most Black men look at when they get the paper? I said, no, sir. He said, the sports section. But I want you to look at the business section because money is not a game. It's very serious. Yeah. If you can understand how to manage money, you'll be able to manage your life. Amazingly, so many in our community are consumers, but they are not investors. Do your own independent investigation. Ask the people who you know when they got their stimulus check, not what did they buy first, what did they invest in first? Just on today, I want to give you a snapshot of what happened today while you were binging on Netflix, watching Hulu. I want you to understand what happened on today. Today, Delta stock went up by 8%. Today, JetBlue stock went up by 7%. Today, Facebook, that many of you are watching me on right now, went up by 7%. Today, you're not going to believe it, Disney went up by 19% today. Tesla went up by 13% in the last week. Many of us are late to the party and don't even realize that the balloons are deflating. You ought to know that 320 billionaires have gotten wealthier in the middle of a pandemic. Wow. In case you missed the timetable, Kanye West was declared a billionaire, having a value of $3 billion while we were 4 weeks under quarantine. While people are shut in, the bank doors are still wide open. I want you to be a part of it. Our guest today, Brother Raphael Spiller, is an amazing minister of the marketplace, is what I call him. He is really doing the gospel not in the fluff of a prosperity doctrine, but understanding the sweat equity and work ethic that comes along with it. He has an amazing program that I instituted in Baltimore. I am brought together some young men who were unofficially in pharmaceuticals. And while they were in pharmaceuticals, they said, Pastor Brown, we want another way of life We want another way of looking at things, and flipping hamburgers ain't gonna do it.
No.
I told them that your weapon of choice is your cell phone. If you learn how to manage this, you don't even realize what it is you're going to be able to do and how you're going to change the world.
Yeah.
Before I bring Brother Spiller on, I want your young people, your children who have returned home from college early and have no summer internships. I need them in front of this computer. For your brother who is a returning citizen and they won't even give his application a nod, I need him in front of this. I need you to call your pastor, who is now taking lean cuts because he's no longer on the road, no longer has preaching engagements. I need him in front of this computer. I want you who has hit a brick wall because you found the ultimate offense because your job told you you are not essential. And so I want us to really relook at and take possession and authority in our hands because I want, when we come out of this pandemic, I don't want you to just be mask and glove free. I want you to be debt free.
Wow.
And I want you to have another stream of income that you'll be able to remember. Pastor Bryant, I was on line with you May 26, 2020. And at that moment, my life changed. Brother Spiller, welcome. Glad to have you, sir.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Bryant. It's indeed a privilege to be here today with you.
This is the oldest I've ever seen you look.
I have to tell you that quarantine has caused some things to grow out.
Yeah, listen, the people don't know whether we talking about stocks or a lumberjack. You scared the guess, man.
I said, if I grow this beard out, maybe people will take me seriously.
They will.
If I show some gray hair, they'll say maybe he's aged, he has some wisdom.
They will believe it in Montana, in Utah, and in North Dakota. But we in the ATL, brother. We need you to do something. Yeah. I'm glad amongst all of the demands that are on your life and all that you have to juggle and navigate, you would take some time for your little brother. I want you to talk about what it is that you do in Snapchat, and then we'll dialogue.
Can I first do something and acknowledge what you have been for me and like myself privately? Most people, when they hear someone edify them, it's usually after they have expired. But I want everyone to know that your edification is due to inspiration. There are so many of us young Black men who watched you for years pioneer movements of economic strength, pioneer movements of community development, pioneer movers where we are seeing rights, our civil rights, someone speaking up for us. And Dr. Bryant, for you to have me here knowing what you mean to our community is indeed an honor. And I'm privileged to actually be here just sharing with you, just talking with you about something I'm very passionate about.
I appreciate it. Talk to us about your passion.
Sure. One of the things that in 2016, I met a multimillionaire. His name was David Imonitie. During this time, he had already become a multimillionaire. He was barely 30 years old. Well, I'm smart enough to know that when you make more than me, you can get my attention. Right. And he asked me this question that just riveted me. He said, "Hey, Spiller, I know where you are in life, but if there was a way that you could learn a skill, and this skill would teach you how to multiply your money, would you be interested?" And that's how David got my attention. I started this journey of learning a skill, and this skill taught me how to multiply my money. Well, that's what started. And from that journey to now, God has blessed me and my family exponentially. I was able to meet you before this, but then you brought me on some time ago just to share the necessity of our people hearing me talk about learning a skill that can become generational. Wow. And that skill is the skill of the foreign exchange market. I knew nothing about Forex. And when he was talking to me, here's a true story. He said, "Spiller, look," he said, it's Forex. Now, the only thing I knew about Forex, I'm from the projects. I'm from the ghetto. So when you say Forex, I think he's talking about a t-shirt. And I'm thinking, How in the world are we going to flip t-shirts to make some money? How is t-shirts going to teach us how to multiply? I was not used to those colloquial terms. We didn't grow up having an education where we understood how to work with money.
All right.
I applied myself, but this particular academy that I connected to, the CEO, his name is Christopher Terry. He had this innovative idea where he said, hey, what if we could bring Wall Street to your street? What if we could really turn a cell phone into an ATM? He pioneered this movement, started in 2014. Well, I have to be honest with you, when we first started, there was not a lot of minorities that I could see that were involved in this. And so we pioneered, me and like David and myself. There are other pastors involved. One pastor, her name is Jewel Tankard. She's involved with what we're doing, and she's spreading this message of economic empowerment to pastors around the country. So right now, what we're doing is we're taking a message of economic empowerment through economic education to the masses. But I want to tell you this because I really want you to hear this, Dr. Bryant. There's a young man by the name of Bryce Thompson. He's 23 years old. He heard about this while going to Morehouse, and he and his brother, Brandon Thompson, got involved in this. Right now, those two brothers, one brother was an engineer, one brother was on his way to become an engineer. When they learned Forex trading, watch this, both of them, one 23, the other right at 30, both of them are earning 6 figures a month.
A month?
What's happening? A month.
Wow.
But both of them together, along with, I want to make sure, there's a gentleman, his name is D.O. Woods. He started this Rich College Kids movement. This gentleman pioneered a movement on college campuses around the world. And I want everybody to check this. The documentation beats conversation, right? There are more kids under the age of 18 and over that are making more, that are making 5 figures a month, 6 figures a month, and it's spreading like wildfire. But it's all because this gentleman, Chris Terry, founded this company that's teaching us how to learn this skill. And so while I will pause it, and then since the sense of urgency with this, you said something earlier, Dr. Bryant. We are in this season we've never seen before. I mean, I was looking at some statistics that were baffling about the unemployment numbers. We had 14%. The unemployment rate is at 14%. People asking questions, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? People were told they were not essential. What do we do? What do we do? And so now we're starting a movement, and we're showing people that skills will pay the bills.
Wow.
They will allow us to teach them. Now, listen, this is what I'm so passionate about. We're even starting a movement right now where we want to connect to their children. The skill I know now, when the parents enroll in this program to learn this skill, I want to teach their children for free. I don't want one child not at least having the opportunity of knowing what a skill or an education in the foreign exchange market, what it can do. I have seen it transform my life. And talking to you about this in private, hearing your heart, hearing you talk about Spiller, we need to do something. We need to do something. What can we do? I said, Dr. Bryant, what we need to do is give our people a skill and let the skill become generational. And when that skill becomes generational, you will see the poverty disparity, the wealth line, you'll see it diminish because we can compete in marketplaces that we didn't have opportunities to compete in before. And so that's what I'm passionate about, pushing a skill, getting every pastor to say, hey, we found a way to teach you how to multiply your money right through your cell phone. What would happen if tithe and offerings came from other sources? What would happen if churches, businesses could then start learning skills to supplement these bottom lines? We have people every day that are pulling pips from the market, that are pulling money out of the market because of a skill that they have taken their time to learn. And guess what they're doing it, Dr. Bryant? Right now in this pandemic. Now, there are people on live Facebook. We asked them to get on. If your life is changing in what we're doing, and you know you're a part of what we're doing, you're part of this entire community, let the people in the group chat know how serious we are, how many lives we are changing. Imagine an 18-year-old, Dr. Bryant, making $10,000 a month, as an example. Now, I'm not here to promise any profits or anything like that. I'm simply here to say that there's a skill that we can learn. And when we learn this skill, we can start seeing our families empowered. We can start seeing our people empowered. Let me tell you one thing I've done, and I'll say this and be done. We started a movement for young men in prison. It's something that I'm pushing called the Joseph Project. I want men who come out of prison who don't have a skill to get funding to learn this skill.
Wow.
Dr. Bryant, if we could teach men who are incarcerated how to turn money in Forex, they won't have to flip burgers. If we teach the skill from the age of cognition, from the age of recognition, we could start turning things. Listen, it should be part of the curriculum in our schools. That's how important this is. And maybe I'm probably being overzealous, but you have to be poor to become rich to understand why I'm so passionate about it.
No, it makes sense. Now, tell us, you're alluding to it, drag us across the plate in the lost episode of Smarter Than a Fifth Grader. What is the skill?
Okay, great. Great. So now, the foreign exchange market is a $5.7 trillion a day entity. Every day, $5.7 trillion is exchanging hands. All it is currency. All currency have value. The United States dollar has value. The euro has value. The Japanese yen has value. Well, Dr. Bryant, these values fluctuate every day. And every day we're in the market and we're buying and selling based on these fluctuations. Now, before people think we're talking about rocket science here, it is not. It is simply learning a technique to be able to read the market. We did a study, my sister, Rachel Riles, did a study where she did an after-school program for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. She taught them how to trade in the market during summer school. So if these kids can do it, all we're doing is watching the currency go up, we buy. Watching the currency go down, we sell. Now, someone out there is saying, Dr. Spill, it can't be that simple. That's what they want you to think. There's a lot of people out there who don't want you to think that there's simplicity in what we do because they make money off of our ignorance. And as long as we don't know about this, we can't engage in it. But we're watching people retire from what we're doing just as a result of learning this skill on how to read the market. Now, guys, when you enroll, we take you step by step to get you to learn this skill so you can become consistent and profitable in what you do. Now, I want to make sure that we always say this. I'm not saying that you're going to learn this, you're going to be a millionaire tomorrow. I'm saying that when we get this resource available, we don't know who may become a specialist in an area that we never had access to. So what they're going to learn is this skill, and we're going to take them step by step to learn it. When they learn the skill, we hope that it becomes a family incorporated thing, that they're making sure their children are doing, their children's children are doing. Dr. Bryant, I have 80-year-olds doing this. I have 70-year-olds doing this. I have 60-year-olds doing this. Age is not a number. There's one lady named Brenda Terrell in Mississippi. She's 65 years old, and she makes pips in the market every day. We say pips in the market, profit in the market every day. It's not about the age, it's about the desire.
One of the greatest things I've ever heard you say, and I've been tempted to steal it, but Please. God knew this day was coming, so I have not. But it's one of the most brilliant things. I want you to talk about the story about the man who buried his talent.
Oh, I would love to.
And what is the command to us?
All right. So there was a revelation that God gave me about what we're doing now. And it's in the book of Matthew where God deals with economy, accounting terms, economics. And he says, in that particular passage, he says, I'm going to give to these individuals, these three individuals, according to their financial aptitude. That's what he says. So he gives one 5 talents. He gives one 2 talents, and he gives one talent. So then what God's saying is, I'm going to give you money according to what I know you're able to do with it. So whatever we have now, whatever you don't have now, is what you've shown God you don't have the ability to handle.
Wow.
Now, God blesses according to our financial IQ, because no man builds a building without first counting the cost. Don't expect God to give man $1 million who have a $1 mind. So you can't give me what I can't handle. So you're going to give it to me and I'm going to blow it. So what God does is He says, let me see what you can handle. I'm going to bless you with this. But the first thing he says was, I want to watch what they do. The first man takes the talent, and the text says, and he traded it. That's what it says, Dr. Bryant. And he made 5 more talents. The other man took the 2 talents and he traded it, 2 more talents. Now, look what the text says. He says, because I saw what you were able to do with money, because I saw your skill, he says, he who is faithful. Now, he doesn't call him faithful till he sees that he's able to multiply his money. God watches your faithfulness over your ability to multiply what he's already given you. Most people are not seeing multiplication because, or seeing abundance because they don't know how to multiply the seeds that's been given. The one with 2 talents, what does he do? Same thing. He was faithful over a few things. I'll make you ruler over many. Both of them enter into rulership, authority, government, governing, because they were able to handle what God gave. Now watch the last talent. What does he do? He takes the talent, and like many of us, he buries it. The text says, and he buries the talent. When the man comes, he digs back up the talent. The man says, listen, I'm going to give you back the 1 talent you gave him. And what does the text say? I didn't say it. What does the text say? He said, thou wicked and slothful servant. Now, wicked, I can understand, because the word wicked is the same word he uses for devil. He says, oh, you are a waster. That's what he means when he says wicked. What a waste. What a waste of a brain that could have had the necessary knowledge to know what to do. But this was the problem. He called him slothful. The tension in the text is he's slothful. How is he slothful? He dug a hole. Digging a hole connotes labor. See, God says, my issue with you is not your labor. My issue with you is your knowledge. He says, you refuse to think about what to do with the money. And what does he do? He takes the little he has and give it to the one who multiplied the most. And then he says, I'm going to send you to the place of the weeping and gnashing of teeth. And then the closing of the text, he tells him why. He says, because the least you could have done was put my money in a place where it gained interest. Pause. I just figured out, Dr. Bryant, why the church, why the world, and why all of us are struggling financially. It's because all of our money is in a hole. Wow. What do you mean it's in a hole? Well, the text says, wherever the hole is the place where the money is not gaining interest. Wherever your money is and it's not multiplying, the text says it's a hole. So where's your money at now? What bank is it in? And if it's not multiplying, the text says it's a hole. And when the man comes to see what you've done with the money, he says, I have watched you squander this and not put it in any place where it can work. There is an anointing on knowledge that when it is applied properly, God puts the super on the natural, causing the increase. And I'm going to say this in closing. That's what he's done. We are seeing so many people now waking up to the fact that my money is unemployed. And if my money is unemployed, then that may be the reason why I'm unemployed. My money's not working for me. So since my money's not working, I'm not working, because all we are is a reflection of our own money. So if our money's not working for us, that's the reason why everybody's filing unemployment, Dr. Bryant, and they're getting denied. We got to do something different. And this is what I'll plead to you. God has anointed you for this time. We need you. We need your voice. You're doing it right now. I know that this hour is strange, but maybe we need to do something strange to combat something strange. We need to do something different. What happens if we all came together and there was no denomination? And we all said, how about we all learn the skill? How about we all put it in? And what we need to do is push the people in the church to take their money out of the hole, put it in a place where the money can work. So the last thing we can be called is wicked and lazy.
I have been arguing.
Did I just preach?
You did. You did.
I wasn't trying to. I promise. I wasn't trying
to.
No,
I wanted you to. I've been arguing, Dr. Spiller, that the church has blood on its hands if we just ask for the 10%, but don't tell people how to manage the 90. And that our responsibility is if we show people how to grow the 90, then the 10 is always going to be there. So what it is that you're doing, I so believe in it. I want you to share with now the thousands who are on with us now, and tell them how it is that they can get involved, their children can get involved,
Sure.
their family can get involved. Because here's the reality: nobody got nowhere to go.
No,
you got your undivided attention. Why are you sitting there? Shut the TV off, and try to apply this over the next couple of weeks. Tell them how they can get involved.
I'll say this: what Chris Terry has done in creating iMarkets Live has put us in a place where we are in demand. We're in demand because people need financing. They need to learn something on what to do next. We're in demand because we have a core group of leaders like Jason Brown and Matt Rosa, Bryce Thompson. These people have come together, Alex Martin, all of these people, Ivan Tapia, from different nationalities, Dr. Brian, from all across the world, from all the O's, the Negro, the Euro, the Filipino, all of us have finally come together to be a hero. And what we need to do right now is come together unitedly. There's a link there. If people want more information about what we're doing, I want to do something that Dr. Bryant would be proud of, something that would speak to what he represents for our community abroad, and that is financial, economic, and community empowerment. If you want to connect with us today, there will be a link that they will place there. Click on that link, and we sent it to your staff, Dr. Bryant. All information, register there. All the information will be provided for you via that link. If you click on that link, fill it out. We're doing this to make sure that we have something that we can come back and show Dr. Bryant on another show.
I love it.
That this is what we've done.
I love it. I'm grateful. I'm excited. The Holy Spirit just put on my heart 4 weeks ago that the body is going to prosper in a pandemic.
Yes.
And so these every Tuesday night leading up to Father's Day, I am providing for our community, our congregation, different business opportunities, because I don't think that the church should just preach it, but that we should demonstrate it.
Yes.
And that the clarion call should not just be on giving, but it also should be on investing, on sharing, on saving. And so I'm glad that on this Tuesday night, you could come and interlope with us. I want to challenge those of you who are looking for a way to do something different, that who knows, but for such a time as this, God needed you to think from an unconventional side, because you've been fishing all night and ain't caught nothing.
Say that. Say that, bro.
And now you got to go put it down on the other side.
Yes.
It's a wonderful, wonderful, novel, innovative way for you to amass commerce for your family and to create a legacy that you don't have to sell tea. You don't have to sell hair, but that you can in fact find yourself. Yes, you can find yourself as a global broker. I said that in jest, but in all seriousness, however it is that you are making commerce is of value.
Yes,
it is of importance. This is just another way to do it, because I got friends who are making money in all of those things. So don't y'all beat me up after this. This is just another alternative way for you to be able to be a part of the business. Anything in closing, Dr. Spiller, you want to share?
I want to make sure that I say one more time, we can never advertise learning this skill enough. But again, I'm going to thank you, Dr. Bryant, for giving us this platform. I hope we honored you in our presentation, or in my presentation, of what I believe that we do and what I'm passionate about. And I want people to see that we can change your situation economically, financially, just by giving you this skill.
Yeah.
My mentor, who has changed my life, again, his name is David Emanite. He said these words to me. He said, Spiller, what you believe is possible is possible. I asked God, would you let me touch 20,000 lives with this skill?
Wow.
Let me impact 20,000 people to help 6 figures or more out of foreign exchange market. That's all my prayer is now. I want to touch 20,000 people with this skill, just 20,000. But I want to do it by sowing $1 billion worth of information that can change a generation. Dr. Bryant, again, thank you for having me on here, and I appreciate this so much.
Absolutely. In a month's time, those of you who get involved, we're going to do a checkup in a private Zoom.
Yes.
just to see how it is that you all are progressing, and to hear your testimonies and witnesses. Ask that you'll please press on the link. You'll be able to get all of the information. I want to underscore, as Dr. Spiller already has, this is not a get-rich scheme or plot.
Not.
You are not going to do this overnight.
No,
there is education and training, and I underscore this word, patience,
please,
that is required.
Yes.
And so if you suffer with them, you're going to reign with them.
You better say that.
But
Suffer
it's
with
going to
me.
be worth it in the journey.
Yes, Lord.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Spiller.
Thank you, Dr. Bryant. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Those of you who are still tuned in, please remember this is our precursor. Our group therapy Bible study begins in just 30 minutes. I've got an amazing, incredible word that I've got to impart to you, and I want you to be a part of it. I'll see you in 30 minutes. In the interim, press that link, get all the information. I love you. I care about you. I want to see you win, and I want to see you prosper in the middle of a pandemic.